I always invite the group to share what would help them have that sense of felt safety in the group. The premise is that we all have story. And what we're hoping to do is to, as Carol Gilligan would say, is we listen people into their voice and their voice shares their stories. And from my perspective, I would say that that is sacred. Your story is yours. So when I'm looking at and honoring the sacredness of our stories and who we are, then I want to honor the power that they have to share it and the responsibility that I have to listen to their story. What I do for the in the classroom is I hopefully am clear to say people can share what they want, how they want, when they want, where they want, if they want. Now, of course, you have boundaries about how. You know, I do support a safe environment that they're not there to dump or to blame. So we have to hold that space of safety. But if a person says, I don't want to say anything, I respect that. You know, when people are sharing or when I'm sharing, I'm vulnerable. And to honor vulnerability, I'm showing up. When I'm sharing, oftentimes, whether it's in therapy or even in a class when students are discussing a topic, I could be in the mud, I'm exploring some things. So I need some room to share what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. Some of our agreements that we came up with is let's have grace with each other so that we don't have to have it all together before we share, so that we can listen to each other's struggles, challenges, opportunities, new creative ideas. And those all come out when I can feel safe to just, muddle around in it. When our circle is done, we close the book, the stories, with all the different chapters. And when we go out, if I want to open my chapter, that's my right, and I need to stay with myself. So that's why I ask them that we need to learn the boundary of being quiet, honoring a person's space, and they have the right to bring it up or not. They may never. I have been in groups where somebody has said, and I'm sure you have also, this is the very first place I've ever said this.
Yeah.
For me, that's where it needs to stay. Now, that doesn't mean we disconnect. I can come up and say, I really appreciate you, or I was moved by you, but it's not my job and it's not my right to take another person's story. As a teacher and instructor in the course, or as a therapist, I have a different role that needs to be clear. I have different tasks that I do in that group, to be clear. I have a different level of power, and my role is facilitating a process in creating, maintaining, and fostering a safe place. If I share parts of who I am in the group, it's to help them with their story. It has to have a purpose. It's that judicious use of who we are. You can take what I say outside of here. They're not taking my story. They're taking my facilitation. That's my job. That's part of my job. So that goes back to power with each other, because what we're trying to do is I'm trying to make sure there's a sense of felt safety, even though we can differentiate the reasons why we're there. So I always say in the agreements, there's at least 3 or 4 pieces to that. It's not just confidentiality, what's said here stays here. I help them understand why that's important for our professional work, but also why it's important for our own integrity.
I love that clarity, including that you have moved me as part of my story, and how the power with approach to this creates safety that allows creativity. I'm hearing how important stating boundaries is in power with.
Absolutely.
Because I think sometimes people hear this and they think, oh, that means that I just go along with everything. But really, it's not being a pushover. It's because having clarity.
Right. And I think there's an underlying premise there that everybody in the room matters. And everybody's story matters. It's not just that you matter. You have the power, as you're listening to their stories, to put people in jail, to take children away, to determine what health benefits they're going to get. And you need to be able to differentiate your story from theirs, but you still have a we. It's just honoring our unique beings and story.
The word that popped out for me when you were just talking was purpose. We've talked about the purpose of a group where you're facilitating. I'm thinking
Mhm.
of some organizations where they are trying to, lead together and
Mhm.
wondering how we could take some of these ideas and apply it to an organizational need like that.
But this is,
Okay.
as I listen, I was thinking about organizations that collaborate with each other because we
Yes.
need each other.
Yes.
So maybe a group of organizations that are looking at a need in the community and we all want to pitch in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the things that comes to mind for me that I hope that I do is I go in with my experiences, I go in with my value, I go in with my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the question is how can I be helpful? That everybody brings something that can be helpful. My job is to honor all of that, to bring it to light, and to let
Mm-hmm.
everybody participate with what they can do well. It's the value of honoring versus competing with.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
also, I walk with a whole group of people together. I'm not in front, I'm not behind, I'm walking with, and
Mhm.
everybody has voice and can share what they do. The thing that it does, I think, is it gives us the 5 good things, and we get the zest. When I can
Mhm.
participate, then I feel as though I have meaning and I matter and we matter, and we develop a we through all these parts that come together. We have the we have to have that inner knowing of a we and of community and of doing things together than that individualistic, it's about me. I matter and I bring skills and all of that.
Mhm.
However, the focus is how can I be helpful to you?
Mhm.
Go back to the
Ah.
2016 conference in Duluth.
Mhm.
Every people sharing, you had the breakout groups, you had different people sharing different aspects.
So often I return to my experience in Duluth. It was expansive both when we narrowed into smaller groups and when we came back in a large group.
I think it was really powerful that one of our security guards who was a veteran, and we had the massacre in Florida,
Mhm.
and he was a bit activated, and he came and wanted to make sure we were safe. And we formed that huge circle around in Summers, and we
Mhm.
sang songs of peace. He brought that to us, and we invited him in, and we created an experience. That's power with each other and honoring everybody's value of who they are and what they bring to the world, because we all bring amazing things to this world. We need to see them, recognize them, and let people shine. Let people shine. We can
Mhm.
invite that. And that means I need to be as present as I can. I need to be able to let go of my agendas. I
Mhm.
need to be able to really, really listen. And I need to be willing to share.